So here's what I recommend you do. Take your grip, shake everything off, get everything nice and loose. Okay. Think about that Colin Montgomery swing I was talking about, very loose and laggy and fluid, because then you can whip the club through just like that. So the feeling I'm going to get now is everything's really loose, wrists especially, arms, knees flexing. You'd always see the players back in the day, they used to be shuffling around, and really that's what they were doing. They probably didn't really know they were doing it for that reason, to free everything up, but that's basically what they were doing and what you need to do in your golf swing, because the swing has become very static over the recent years. Everything's all about trying to get into a position and then hold the wrist angle coming down. Well, that's just not going to work, okay? Because you've got to allow everything to free up, because then you can allow your brain, your central nervous system, to put the swing on autopilot for you, basically. It really does work. You can just free everything up and then get that smooth backswing, get that lag, get the grip end of the club going back first. Because when you do it that way, you can really feel that change of direction where you then lag it on the way down, where the wrist fully cocked, and then you lag coming back down the opposite way. You can get a better sense of whipping the golf club through them. Good example is to get a towel. So if you had a towel, gripping a towel just down here, then basically as you swing the towel back, your hands and the top part where you're holding the towel would move back first, and then the bottom of the towel would come back last. So we're almost trying to drag that towel back and then give it a snap or a whip at the top of the swing. So grab a towel and practice that one, and you'll get that sense and feeling of what I'm talking about here, where the grip end of the club moves first, and then I can whip it through coming down. So let's apply that to the ball. Take my setup. Trying to feel like I'm as relaxed as possible. First move, really loose. Grip moving first. Feels like I'm trying to imagine I'm Colin Montgomery. I could really feel that I was whipping the golf club through. The wrists felt really, really passive. And that's the feeling you want to get in the golf swing. You've got to free up the wrists, because you can really get the energy from the body that you've built up. You've done all the hard work going into the backswing, transitioned, and then if you allow your wrist to be passive, which basically means just let them do what they want to do, all of that energy that you built up in your backswing and transition is going to go through your hands, down the shaft, and into the club head, and you're going to get so much more club head speed doing it that way. So the GForce swing trainers now, they have the next generation shaft in them. It's a much better shaft, same flex as previous shafts, but the great thing about them now is that the shafts are much lighter. They're much closer to a normal weighted golf shaft. In the irons, they are. The driver is a little bit heavier than a standard weight shaft. Most driver shafts are probably around 65, 70 grams, whereas the GForce one is 120 grams. So it's a little bit heavier, but it's the lightest, super flexible shaft that you can get on the market. The great thing about this is, obviously you can hit balls with it. It's a beautiful head, forged titanium, high quality. You can hit balls with it, but it's an amazing speed trainer. There's lots of speed trainers out there now. It's just a shaft with a little weight on the end, a bit like a 4-iron sort of thing. The GForce swing trainers, it's a proper golf club. Okay, we've got this really flexible shaft in it, beautiful head. With the driver, 7-iron, got the wedge, got the putter. This driver is fantastic for speed training because you can hit balls with it. So you've got the feedback from the flexibility in the shaft, and you've got the feedback from the actual ball flight when you hit it as well. And it gives a great sense of loading the shaft on the backswing and then loading it down at impact. You can really sense and feel the proper loading and unloading of the golf shaft, which you can't feel in a normal golf club. So what I'd recommend doing with the driver is Start some practice swings first, but just very slowly. Feel that grip end moving away first before the club head. You can feel that takeaway lag, because then as you switch into the transition, you can feel the downswing lag. So I would recommend, first of all, do some very slow swings, like a nice slow tempo, back and throw. You've got to feel your wrists really hingy going back. Feel that hinge on the takeaway. So we've got this takeaway lag, and then feel how to switch and hinge in the opposite direction at the top of your swing and load fully before you transition. You need to feel that, and that's really important to help you get the club head speed out of your body into the club head. That's really important to help you get all of the energy that you built up in your body down through the shaft and into the club head. If you lock out these wrists, or if you're trying to bow and bend them or force them into a position on impact, you're breaking the kinetic chain, you're preventing all of the energy getting into the club head. Your body then starts to compensate to make up for lost speed. You can start throwing your shoulders into it or holding it off. You've got to let the wrists be passive on the way through. That's your only way you're going to strike the ball more consistently solid at the middle of the club face and get lots of club head speed. Any sort of manipulation, once you made that transition move with your hands, you're not going to hit good golf shots. You're not going to do it consistently. So I recommend slow practice swing to begin with, because what we want to do when we start is do practice swings, just to find that nice smooth tempo. The tempo will come as long as you're making smooth changes in direction, back and through. Try and get a sense and feel of your hands, arms, body, and club being as one. Everything's coordinating beautifully. The swing is nice and fluid and rhythmic. You feel as though you're whipping it, because you haven't got your wrist locked out, and then you're building up speed gradually because we can hear it. Feel like I can whip it more. Now I'm good to go. That feels fast. And it feels balanced. That shaft's helping me with my rhythm and tempo and my balance. Solid. So it's fantastic for speed training. Excellent tool for your rhythm and tempo. It's really going to help you time that transition. That transition, waiting for the shaft to load up at the top, waiting for your wrist to fully cock, and then pull the club down into the transition. It's going to help you hit the ball further, more out the middle of the club face, and lower your scores. Because the more fairways you can hit and the further down the fairway you can get, the easier the game is going to be. Trust me. Certainly with the training videos I've done on the 7-iron and wedge, and the pods are coming soon, we're going to be able to tidy up your all-round game. So a quick recap. You've got to free everything up, shake everything up before you actually make a swing. When you grip it, waggle around a little bit, loosen up. When we take the club away, you want to move the grip end of the club first. Allow the club head to catch up and fully cock your wrists. And then just try and stay nice and relaxed. No swing thoughts. Whip it back, whip it through. And you're going to get tons of club head speed with much less effort. So if you're not striking the ball very well, I'd recommend just trying to free up a little bit. Get all the joints nice and free. Start with some slow swings just to find your rhythm and tempo. It's a good thing maybe to hit a few shots with that slow rhythm and tempo to start with before you start increasing the speed. So just a nice easy one here, just to get the contact on the ball, and then build your speed up. That's the best way to do it. So the flexible shaft has got many benefits when it comes to driving. Typically, you're losing club head speed, you're slicing the ball. Those are the biggest problems. Everyone's getting too aggressive in transition. You're trying to get the club down too quickly before you even finish the backswing. What this club is great for, because the shaft is so flexible, it's almost, you're almost waiting for the shaft to load up at the top and your wrist to fully load. And it's sort of telling you or giving you a good indication of when you're ready to start down for the perfect transition. Because when we transition, we need to make sure the wrist is fully cocked, so the weight and momentum of the golf club fully cock the wrist. We wait for a little bit of load up in the shaft, because as the arms and club stop, the momentum from the head carries on and loads the shaft a little bit. And then we've got to make sure that the weight is shifted to that left side a little bit. Then from there, the key move down is pull down, get the arms and club down, keep the back to the target a little bit longer than you normally do, and then from there, your hips will rotate out of the way. Your downswing will be on autopilot. So let's give it a rip. Nice and free. Moving the grip end of the club first. Club head's going to lag behind the hands. And then rip it through. Hope you've enjoyed that video. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. I'll be happy to answer those. But in the meantime, get practicing on those points that I've been talking about. Even if you haven't got the GForce swing trainer, you can do all of this training with your own golf club. The GForce swing trainer will help you identify your swing faults. Okay, issues with your rhythm and tempo, sequencing, transition, your release. So it's a great tool to have because it's going to help you be your own coach. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. There's plenty more to come. I'm going to be doing lots more of the VR 3D videos and also doing quite a few videos outside as well, using the swing trainers and talking about how they're going to help you declutter your brain. You know, you've got too many swing thoughts going on. There's a lot of stuff in the golf swing that you don't need to think about. And I'm going to just simplify the whole thing for you and make it a lot easier so you can get better at golf quicker. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.